Yeah, so what about when it comes to the work ethic of how men are today and how men of the past were?
The work ethic of how, well, their generation, and respectfully to them, they worked hard. Our generation choose to work smart. We choose to work smart, I'd like to think personally, because we want to spend more time with our loved ones. We want to be more involved. Unfortunately for them, they were in a situation where they actually worked hard just to kind of build a life that really and truly a lot of them didn't get to fulfill. They're still trying to fulfill it to today. And what happened was is that rather than raise your children, the school system raised your children, the community raised your children, the church raised your children. Half of the time you didn't even know what was going on with your children because you were so busy working hard. Now, that's no disrespect to them. That's no knock on them. That's nothing. I commend them completely. As far as I'm concerned, they've come from where their countries respectfully to come here to try and build a life. And now, of course, it's not been easy. It's never going to be simple. But when we look at our generation, we're looking to work a lot more smarter so that we can have more time to do things that really and truly we feel are necessary for our loved ones. So my ability to be with my son in the way that I'm with my son is not for nothing apart from I choose to work smart. I chose to work hard because that's what I knew. That's what we all knew. And then eventually the working hard went into working smart. But it wasn't a smooth transition. It was a difficult transition. Because what you're ultimately saying is you have to change your mindset on money. They didn't change their mindset on money. Even if they made the most money, they went to go for more money so they can go and have more servants. It wasn't about having time. It was about making sure that you have a kingdom in Nigeria. Now, that kingdom in Nigeria meant that you would employ more people to raise your children and more people to do things. When really and truly, employ more people to clean up and do those things so that you can raise your child, so that you can go to a soccer game, basketball game, so you can give him the Lucasade on the side instead of someone else's dad. You know, I experienced that, unfortunately. A large part, and that's why when it comes to being from London and you say white people, black people, it's very hard for me. A large part of my childhood, take Robert Coral Cooper. If not for him and his family, his dad specifically, and his mum, you think at 18 I'm going to Bishop Stortford? How am I getting there? Playing for all these football teams, doing all these things, how am I getting there? Not at 18, like 16. How am I getting there? Who's taking me? But they have a different kind of way of what they look at. They didn't have no kingdom like maybe what my mum has, your mum or dad or other people. No, they didn't have all of that. But guess what? They had a nice little house and a nice little setup. And the way it was set was that they had enough time to be able to be on the side every training session. Yeah, son, keep going. Get in there. Take the Lucasade bottle. Where was my dad? Where was my support? I needed that. Too busy trying to figure out how to.
Make more money.
Now, respectfully, I could turn around and I could say, that's what you had to do. But I can also say you made more than enough money to have a good life in England, but your desires wasn't to have a good life in England. It was to have a good life in Nigeria. In which case, you didn't care what happened in England.
But you're here.
But I'm here. Now, my life is here. So I'm gonna make a good life here, and whatever else I'm gonna do else, that'll be extra. But for if the extra affects me doing what I know I need to do, which is to work smart, to be able to have more time for my loved ones, then I don't want no kingdom. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? So that's not to knock them. It's just to you understand the difference between their mentality and our mentality. Because in the end, for whatever it is that you're thinking, what's more important, the money or the actual time? They spent most of their time chasing the money. We're trying to spend most of our time to ourselves, where the money chases us. Different mentality. If they came back tired every single day and they wasn't available to talk or whatever else, We're trying to figure out how we can work from home so we can still support each other and earn big money whilst working from home. We're trying to do things smarter. On the one breath, you say this generation is very lazy, but on another breath, you can also say that this generation is really smart. Because what we then value is the time. So why do 4 jobs, no sleep, when we could do 1 job and get the equivalent of 4 jobs? It's time to be smart, no? Now, this mental health stuff that we're talking about and this pressure that we're talking about, the only issue I'm having with this idea of this mental health stuff is that there's people that actually have mental health issues and they need the support. And when we all start talking about we have mental health because of social media pressure or peer pressure or whatever the pressure that you're talking about, that's when I think you're taking the piss. Because the truth is the pressure that we've got is not different from the pressure that they had. And respectfully, in England, what is England asking you to do? What is England asking you to do that is so daunting, that there's so much pressure? Get a job, save, pay a mortgage, finish your mortgage. Have an enjoyment based on what you can afford and not what you can't afford. Don't let your eyes be bigger than your mouth. But for some strange reason, because there's this desire to use the money to create a lifestyle that we believe we want, but don't actually need, but we want, we now have pressure. And because we don't live up to that expectation now, we have mental health. The pressure is too much. England didn't ask you to do all of that. Them white British people you're talking about, all of that, they didn't tell you that they had to wear Dior. They was rocking K-Swiss. They didn't tell you to do all of that. They used their money in different ways. Where's all this pressure coming from? What is the pressure? Tell me.
Pressure? What pressure?
What pressure are we talking about? Tell me. Or is it that you place too much pressure on yourself to live up to an expectation that you know you're struggling to do? How about you face your front? What's the problem? Who told you you need to have all these things to be fulfilled? Who? Who? Why is it so difficult? What? Opportunity's there, take it. What's the problem? Save your money. Stay focused. What's the problem? Oh, but they're enjoying. So, okay, they're enjoying. And when it's your time to enjoy, you will too. But you have things that you have to sort out. So you can't do it whilst you're trying to sort things out. Our parents gave us discipline, no? Is that not the discipline that we're talking about that we need to have?